We're back here on Jones and Company in the final segment of our program today, and we have the good pleasure of speaking with Dame Anita Allen, who was recently knighted by Her Majesty the Queen. And we have spoken about family life, and I believe that many Bahamian wives heard of your activities, not only in the courts, but in your family as well. And I believe that they might be inspired, Dame Anita. And I want to ask you generally about how you see things in our country in terms of the social development of our people, young people, and we've heard a whole lot about dysfunctional families. And I believe someone of your in your position can probably be instructive to many people who are struggling with families and with children.
I think family life and the breakdown of a family is one of our most serious problems. And I also think that parents are not teaching children the principles by which they should live. They're not teaching them respect for themselves. They're not teaching them respect for others, respect for authority. They're not teaching them that they should love God and that they should love their neighbors as themselves. They're not taking them to church. They're not encouraging and supporting them in in what the children want to do, and positive things, I should say. They're not supporting and encouraging them in doing positive things. I also think that we have to change the way we are giving information to the public. And this is not to be critical of the press. But I think that we need to the message must be more uplifting than it is now. There is a negativity which is running, through this country, and in my view, it feeds the anger, the vengeance, these negative emotions, the violence. So I think we need to celebrate what is the good things that are happening in the Bahamas. Yes, there's a lot which is wrong in the Bahamas, but I do think that we have a lot to celebrate as well. And I believe that if we were uplifting people and people felt optimistic about the future, things might be, and this might be simplistic, but things might be a little bit better. Because I think this negativity, this blame game, it fuels, in my view, that mood, of vengeance and anger and violence and hate and that we're seeing. I mean,
We are an angry society.
We are angry, and I keep wondering, what are we so angry about? That's a $1 million question. What are our young men, particularly, so angry about? That is what we need to find out. What are they so angry about?
Well, there are vicissitudes in social life in the country. I believe many of them are unemployed. Many of them are not properly socialized. They do not adhere to those core values that you spoke of earlier, eh?
Well,
don't you think, Dame Anita, that it's not a criticism, just a suggestion, that people like yourself are viewed as being objective, impartial? Don't you think judges need to have a more public presence?
yes. Well, I do agree with you, and in fact, and I'm not going to blow my horn, But in the Court of Appeal, we have an education program which was started by Dame Joan. I have continued that and extended it to service clubs, so young people are involved, the Defense Force Rangers, the prison, the Juvenile Detention Center.
You got an outreach program.
We have an outreach program.
Yeah.
And so each of our judges gives a talk. We either go to their schools or they come to the Court of Appeal. We talk to them and we encourage them and we advise and admonish them and but maybe it's too little. I don't know.
No, but you see.
But we've done a lot of that.
See,
if you read our annual reports, you'll see how we have like an annual report that is coming out this year, 160 pages, and we've chronicled all of those outreach initiatives that we've done. So we're trying, and I believe and I agree with you that judges could be more.
Yeah, but you see, because
more positive.
like Joan said earlier, we are a politically polarized society with too much dependence on the politician and not enough objectivity presented so that people can see an issue, not from a political point of view, but from a common sense point of view. And I think judges can add that dimension to our society.
And everything I think is clothed in that partisan politics.
Yes.
And I'm not going to go there, but we in the Court of Appeal, we are trying to do our part to try to encourage young people and motivate them, to be positive contributors to the development of their country. It's a long road ahead.
I don't want to do a recapitulation of your family as such and the success of your children, but it bespeaks the involvement of parents in the lives of children.
Yes.
And I want you to take this opportunity to speak to parents, because parenting is extremely important, Dame Anita, as you would know. And we've heard a whole lot about dysfunctional parents. As a matter of fact, some clergy people in our country have gone as far as to say that some parents ought to be punished for the delinquency of children.
Yeah.
You don't hold that view, do you?
Well, I'm not going to make any. I'm not going to go there because it may be something that might come before me, so I'm not going to go there. But I think once you have children, you have to make that commitment to their well-being, total commitment. And it's a lifelong commitment. It's not only for 18 years.
Yes.
I'm still advising and loving and encouraging my children, even now, and my oldest son is 40.
Yeah.
And my baby is 28 babies are 28 and 29. And every day I get a call for some reason, Mom this, Mom that, and I always take the time to no matter how busy I am, I will take that 5 minutes and speak to them and say, baby, I think you should do this or you should do that. Don't you think this would be, this is the way you ought to deal with it? So it's a lifelong commitment to their welfare and to their interest. Everything takes a back seat. You have to put aside to go into the clubs. When you have small children, you have to be with them. You have to know where they are at all times. You have to know who they are with, who they are associating with. My boys never sat on the wall. Never. They're not sissies either. I shouldn't say that.
Yeah.
But what I'm saying is, It's a lifelong commitment, and you have to teach children. You have to teach them and continue to encourage them.
Now I hear
And
you are doting over a grandchild.
Yes, I am.
And so I'm sure that grandson, is it?
Yes, his grandson. Yes.
Would have the same rigorous training as your own sons had, eh?
Well, you know, I'm trying. I'm trying. Yes, I have him every weekend from he was 1 week old.
Mm.
So he spends a day or 2 days with me every weekend, and we do a whole lot of things. I teach him, sing to him, rock him.
Mm.
Yeah.
Dame Anita, my final question to you. Speak about the way forward for the Bahamas. You're optimistic about this country?
Yes, I am. I'm optimistic about the country.
Tell us
yes.
why.
I'm optimistic about the country because I think that we have a lot of young people who are doing well, who are doing very well, and they are the future of the Bahamas. We have a lot of people, a lot of young people, like I say, who are doing positive things. And so, yes, I'm optimistic about the future of the Bahamas.
Thank you so very much for being here today. I enjoyed the conversation. Thank you.
Thank you.
Godfrey, I'm sure you did as well.
Oh, yes, yeah.
Thank
I
you.
did want to read this thing for them, but that's
Oh,
okay.
please,
No,
please.
that's okay.
How long is it?
No, it's not long.
Okay.
It's just that.
Oh, please, if you can,
It's just a message to your...
please go ahead. I would be happy.
Okay, this is a message of peace, which was written by Betty Williams in 1976, and it comes from the Declaration of the Peace People. And it says, we have a simple message for the world from this movement for peace. We want to live and love and build a just and peaceful society. We want for our children, as we want for ourselves, lives at home, at work, and at play, to be lives of joy and peace. We recognize that to build such a life demands of all of us dedication, hard work, and courage. We recognize that there are many problems in our society which are a source of conflict and violence. We recognize that every bullet fired makes that work more difficult. We reject the use of the bullet and all the techniques of violence. We dedicate ourselves to working with our neighbors, near and far, day in and day out, to building that peaceful society in which the tragedies we have known are a bad memory and a continuing warning. So I'd like to encourage the public to dedicate themselves to working, to building a peaceful and just society in the Bahamas.
Thank you very much. That is a good last word, especially as we begin 2016. Thank you so very much.
Thank you.
Thank you, Godfrey Eneas.
Thank
You for watching and listening to our program today. I'm sure you enjoyed it as much as we have. Good evening, everyone.